We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hosts German Chancellor Friedrich Merz in Gujarat. Two leaders visit Sabarmati Ashram and hold bilateral talks in Ahmedabad. Donald Trump says Iran seeks negotiations after US warns of military intervention if crackdown continues. Australia's parliament reopened 2 weeks early to crack down on hate crimes and gun ownership following the mass shooting at Bondi Beach. And in cricket, Virat Kohli hits 93 to lead India to 4-wicket win over New Zealand in first ODI in Vadodara. On to the details now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the visiting German Chancellor Friedrich Merz held bilateral talks in West Indian city of Gandhinagar. The two leaders discussed the entire gamut of bilateral relations between the two nations. The two leaders also took stock of the progress made in diverse aspects of the India-Germany strategic partnership, which completed 25 years last year. Leaders also exchanged views on regional and global issues. Earlier, the two leaders began their engagements with a visit to the iconic Sabarmati Ashram. The ashram, closely associated with Mahatma Gandhi, stands as a symbol of peace, non-violence and shared global values. India and Germany are celebrating 75 years of India-Germany diplomatic ties and 25 years of the India-Germany strategic partnership. Both the leaders also participated in the International Kite Festival 2026 held at the Sabarmati River front. The event underscores the cultural and diplomatic significance of Chancellor Merz's visit to India. Also, the visit is part of Chancellor Merz's first official visit to India since taking office, aimed at strengthening bilateral ties between India and Germany.
આપણા માનનીય પ્રધાનમંત્રી શ્રી અને આપણા અતિથિ માનનીય આજની આ વેળા અત્યંત રંગીન કારણ કે અહીંયા માત્ર ગુજરાત જ નહીં પણ સમગ્ર ભારત જાણે ઊભું છે આવકારવા તેઓનું સ્વાગત કરવા તેઓનું અભિવાદન કરવા.
Both the leaders participated in the International Kite Festival held at the Sabarmati River front, and the event underscored the cultural and diplomatic significance of Chancellor Merz's visit to India. The colourful skies reflected the informal and people-centric start as thousands of people gathered at the International Kite Festival, and the skies reverberated with the beautiful kites, and both the leaders also tried their stint at flying kites at the International Kite Festival. In fact, the presence of the German Chancellor at this cultural event signaled the importance both sides place on people-to-people ties and soft diplomacy.
कुचिपुड़ी, भरतनाट्यम.
The visit is part of Chancellor Merz's first official visit to India since taking office, which aims at strengthening bilateral ties between India and Germany. And India correspondent Tanvi Taneja spoke to a participant who came from Indonesia to take part in the International Kite Festival. Let's listen in.
We are at the International Kite Festival here in Ahmedabad, and there are beautiful, beautiful kites. This one having, as Ellie from Indonesia says, is the big man here. Modi ji has been inscribed on this kite. Let's speak to Ellie. Ellie, you're from Indonesia.
Just make this kite for this festival. This is my traditional cloth. This for every day. Usually, yes.
Okay.
I love your Prime Minister.
Okay.
So brilliant and.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay. Hello, ma'am. Hi.
How are you?
You're the owner of. You're also from Indonesia, ma'am.
Yes.
How's your experience at the International Kite Festival?
Great, very great.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
So many people.
Yeah.
With
You're
the
looking
kites.
forward to flying the kites, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. With camera person Anand Kashyap, this is Tanvi Taneja. This is Tanvi Taneja for DD India.
And kite lovers from across the world gathered in the West Indian city of Ahmedabad to participate in the global event. The participants shared their experience with DD India. Take a listen.
Our experience here is beautiful. We are very happy. The people are very friendly, grateful.
Big kite festival. I visit Soti Kite Festival International and Gujarat Kite Festival, very nice. Many country delegation participating in here. I made Indian flag kite, Delta kite, very nice.
This year I'm making a Gujarat kite. That Gujarat kite is displayed all over the Gujarat in that Gir jungles, that city side jalis, then Statue of Unity, then play of the kites, then Navratri, then Somnath temple, everything Jakis in my kites, and that kites making in 6 months. After that I make a Hanuman, that's called a Pavan Putra, and they are flying with that kites, and we enjoy that kites with the another kite flyer from different countries.
And today is National Youth Day. The day commemorates birth anniversary of one of India's foremost social and spiritual reformers, Swami Vivekananda. On the occasion, Prime Minister Modi will engage with thousands of youth across the country to envision a roadmap for the nation's development. Here's more.
Arise, awake, and stop not until the goal is reached. Swami Vivekananda's powerful invocation and philosophical legacy has inspired generations of youth for over a century. He always hailed the potential of youth to transform society. On his birth anniversary, 12th January every year is celebrated as the National Youth Day.
आज इस तेजी से बदलते विश्व में स्वामी विवेकानंद जी दो संदेश हर युवा के जीवन का हिस्सा होने चाहिए। ये दो संदेश हैं इंस्टीट्यूशंस और इनोवेशन। इंस्टीट्यूशन तब बनता है जब हम अपने विचार को विस्तार देते हैं, टीम स्पिरिट से काम करते हैं। आज हर युवा को चाहिए कि वो अपनी इंडिविजुअल सक्सेस को टीम सक्सेस के रूप में विस्तार दे। यही टीम स्पिरिट टीम इंडिया के रूप में विकसित भारत को आगे ले जाएगा।
On the occasion of National Youth Day, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will participate in the concluding session of the Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2026 in New Delhi. Prime Minister will interact with around 3,000 youth from across the country, along with young delegates representing the international diaspora. Selected participants will make their final presentations to the Prime Minister across 10 thematic tracks, sharing youth-led perspectives and actionable ideas on key areas of national importance. Viksit Bharat Young Leaders Dialogue 2026 witnessed participation from over 50 lakh youth across the country. With Swami Vivekananda's inspiring legacy and unique demographic advantage of India, the youth hold the key to success and development of the nation and also play a greater role in global leadership. Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India.
And President Draupadi Murmu and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid tribute to Swami Vivekananda on the occasion of his 164th birth anniversary. Paying homage to the spiritual leader, President Draupadi Murmu in a special social media post said, and I quote her, "I pay my humble tribute to Swami Vivekananda on his birth anniversary, celebrated as National Youth Day. A timeless, visionary and spiritual icon, he preached that inner strength and service to humanity were foundations of a meaningful life. He carried India's eternal wisdom to the world. Swamiji instilled national pride among Indians and inspired the youth to contribute to nation building. His teachings will continue to inspire humanity." Unquote. Also, Prime Minister Modi in a social media post said that Swami Vivekananda remains a powerful source of inspiration for India's youth, and his personality and works continue to strengthen the resolve for a developed India. And India's Electronics and Information Technology Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw will participate in the Critical Minerals Ministerial meeting to be held on Monday in the United States. Minister Vaishnaw arrived in Washington, D.C. and emphasized that securing critical mineral supply chains is vital for India's goal of Viksit Bharat. Critical minerals such as lithium, cobalt, graphite, copper and rare earth elements are essential for clean energy technologies like solar panels, wind turbines, EVs and energy storage systems. To secure these resources, India launched the National Critical Mineral Mission, or the NCMM, in 2025 to ensure their long-term availability and processing. And time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while.
And trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium, we'll get you centered with the Economic Brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
And welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Vipakshi Khurana, and moving on. Updates from West Asia now. Nationwide protest against government continues in Iran as the unrest entered into its third week. The protest began on December 28th as demonstrations against soaring inflation and economic hardship, but soon escalated into tense nationwide unrest marked by violent clashes between protesters and the security forces. Now, the Iranian government on Sunday declared 3 days of national mourning for the martyrs, including members of the security forces killed in 2 weeks of protest. Iranian state TV broadcast funeral processions in western cities, including Gachsaran and Yasoj, for security personnel killed in the protest. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump on Sunday said that Iran's leadership had called seeking to negotiate on nuclear after his warning of military action amid mass anti-government protest in the Islamic Republic.
Iran called to negotiate. Yesterday, the leaders of Iran called, they want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States. Iran wants to negotiate, yes. We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up. But we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting. But a meeting is being set up. Iran called, they want to negotiate. Thank you very much, everybody.
Also, Iran has warned it will retaliate if attacked by the United States. Iranian authorities accuse the US and Israel of fomenting trouble. The state television reported that government called for nationwide marches on Monday. President Masoud Pezeshkian urged people to take part in a national resistance march to denounce the violence. And United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has meanwhile expressed shock over reports of violence against protesters in Iran. He urged Iranian authorities to exercise maximum restraint and refrain from unnecessary or disproportionate use of force. He also urged steps that enable access to information in the country, including restoring communications. And moving on, the UN Security Council will also hold an emergency meeting on Monday to discuss Russia's latest attacks on Ukraine following an urgent request from Kyiv. In a post on social media platform X, Ukraine's Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said the meeting was convened after recent Russian strikes, which reportedly involved the use of an intermediate-range ballistic missile. Sybiha added that the emergency session will focus on what Ukraine has described as Russia's serious violations of the United Nations Charter. He urged the Council to demand an immediate end to hostilities, ensuring the protection of civilians, and reaffirm unwavering support for Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Well, US President Donald Trump on Sunday said no more Venezuelan oil or money will go to Cuba and suggested the island should strike a deal with Washington, ramping up pressure on the long-time US nemesis and provoking defiant words from the island's leadership. Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel rejected Trump's threat on social media, suggesting the US had no moral authority to force a deal on Cuba. Here's more. US President Donald Trump said on Sunday his administration was working well with Venezuela's interim leader, Delcy Rodriguez, and that he would be open to a meeting with her. He added that the United States now has de facto control of Venezuela. He replied in affirmative when asked if he planned to meet with Rodriguez.
Venezuela is really working out well. We're working along really well with the leadership, and we'll see how it all works out. At some point I'll meet, yeah. Been very good. Look, she asked us, can we take 50 million barrels of oil? And I said, yes, we can. It's $4.2 billion. And it's on its way right now to the United States.
Rodriguez, too, has indicated willingness to work with the United States, saying she's open to cooperate on Trump's demands for access to Venezuelan oil. The Venezuelan government began to release prisoners jailed under Maduro, saying a large number would be released, but rights groups and the opposition say only about 20 have walked free so far, including several prominent opposition figures. Rights groups estimate there are 800 to 1,200 political prisoners currently being held in Venezuela. Trump on Sunday urged Cuban leaders to make a deal or face unspecified consequences, warning that the flow of Venezuelan oil and money to Havana would stop now that Maduro has gone. The social media post drew an angry retort from Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel. U.S. military personnel and equipment were visible at port facilities in Ponce on Sunday, more than a week after Washington's military operation against Venezuela. The continued presence underscores an ongoing US military footprint in Puerto Rico following the January 3rd attack on Caracas, after which Washington tightened its blockade of sanctioned vessels off Venezuela's coast. Anamika Pandey's report, DD India. An Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said on Monday that Parliament would be recalled early to sit next week in the wake of the Bondi attack. The first parliamentary sitting fortnight was set to start on February 3rd, but will instead commence on January 19th. The opposition has been calling on the Prime Minister to recall Parliament for weeks. But Albanese insisted his government needed more time to ensure changes to gun, hate speech and visa laws were airtight, warning that sloppy legislation risked High Court challenges down the line. Fronting media on Monday, Albanese said the legislation was ready and that wording of a condolence motion had been agreed with the opposition. And the 83rd Golden Globe Awards wrapped up on Sunday night in Beverly Hills, California. Here's a quick look at some of the night's biggest winners. The award for Best Motion Picture Drama went to the period film Hamnet, which also earned Jessie Buckley the Golden Globe for Best Actress in Drama. Meanwhile, Best Motion Pictures Musical or Comedy went to one battle after another, the most awarded film of the evening. And Paul Thomas Anderson took home honours for Best Director and Best Screenplay, while Teyana Taylor won Best Supporting Actress. The Best Foreign Language Film award went to Brazil's The Secret Agent, which also earned Wagner Moura the prize for Best Actor in a Drama. Timothée Chalamet won Best Actor, Musical or Comedy for his performance in the sports film Marty Supreme, while Rose Byrne claimed Best Actress for If I Had Legs, I Would Kick You. Also, Stellan Skarsgård won Best Supporting Actor for Sentimental Value. The horror thriller Sinners picked up 2 awards, winning Best Original Score and Best Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. And the animated film K-pop Demon Hunters also earned the honours for Best. And now to some business news now. Ex-owned by billionaire Elon Musk has been under the form officials around the world since last week, when Grok began flooding the site with AI-generated non-consensual images of women and children, with pressure mounting. Musk's XAI, which operates Grok, also users for unlawful content generated by his chatbot, saying anyone using Grok to make illegal content will suffer the same consequences as if they upload illegal content. Well, Musk has responded with laugh cry emojis to AI-altered photographs of prominent people. At one point, he blamed the users for unlawful content generated by his chatbot, saying anyone using Grok to make illegal content will suffer the same consequences. And U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell said on Sunday that the Trump administration had threatened him with a criminal indictment and grand jury subpoenas over congressional testimony he gave last summer regarding a Fed building renovation project. Powell has called the action a pretext aimed at putting further pressure on the central bank to lower the interest rates.
The threat of criminal charges is a consequence of the Federal Reserve setting interest rates based on our best assessment of what will serve the public, rather than following the preferences of the president. This is about whether the Fed will be able to continue to set interest rates based on evidence and economic conditions, or whether instead monetary policy will be directed by political pressure or intimidation. I have served at the Federal Reserve under 4 administrations, Republicans and Democrats alike. In every case, I have carried out my duties without political fear or favor, focused solely on our mandate of price stability and maximum employment.
And on to some sports news now. Virat Kohli played a superb innings to power India to win in the first one-day international against New Zealand in Vadodara. Kohli fell short of his 100 by 7 runs as he was dismissed on 93 by Kyle Jamieson. Kohli had shared 2 crucial partnerships with skipper Shubman Gill and Shreyas Iyer to guide India to safety after opener Rohit Sharma fell cheaply. There was a small hiccup as men in blue lost 3 wickets in quick succession following Kohli's departure, but KL Rahul and Washington Sundar took the host over the line. Kyle Jamieson was pick of the bowlers with 4 wickets. Earlier, Daryl Mitchell hit an attacking 84 runs to steer visitors to 300 runs for the loss of 8 wickets. During the match, Kohli became the fastest player to reach 28,000 runs across formats in international cricket and the second most prolific scorer behind Sachin Tendulkar. All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. Lipakshi Khurana from Alvasair in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.